Hydrogen peroxide is sitting in millions of medicine cabinets right now, completely misunderstood. People are using it wrong, getting zero results, and some are actually hurting themselves without even knowing it. Grandma knew things about this little brown bottle that nobody talks about anymore. So let's fix that right now, starting with mistake number 25 and counting all the way down to the one that almost everyone gets wrong. Number 25. You are using the wrong concentration for the wrong job. Walk into any drugstore and you will find the standard 3% hydrogen peroxide. But people grab whatever they find without understanding that concentration matters enormously. Grandma was very specific about this. The 3% solution is what belongs in your home for general use, skin application, and cleaning. Anything above that, like the 6%, 10%, or 35% food-grade versions, is not meant for direct skin contact without serious dilution. Some people are going online and buying 35% solutions thinking more is better, and then burning themselves badly. Higher concentrations are industrial products. For home remedies, stay with the 3% unless you know exactly what you are doing and have done your research carefully. Number 24. You are storing it in the wrong place. Most people keep their hydrogen peroxide in the bathroom cabinet under bright lighting and near heat from showers. That is one of the fastest ways to kill its effectiveness. Grandma always kept hers in a cool, dark drawer away from light and heat. Here is the truth. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down into plain water when exposed to light and warmth. That bottle you have been using for 3 months sitting in a sunny spot, it might literally be nothing more than water right now. Store it in a dark, cool location, and once you open the bottle, use it within 30 to 45 days for best results. An easy test is to pour a small amount onto a cut. If it fizzes, it still has active oxygen in it. If nothing happens, throw it out and buy a new bottle. Number 23. You are putting it on deep wounds. This one is extremely important. Grandma used hydrogen peroxide on scrapes and surface cuts, not deep puncture wounds or serious injuries. Modern medicine has actually confirmed what she intuitively practiced. Pouring hydrogen peroxide into a deep wound can damage the tissue that needs to heal, killing off the healthy cells along with the bacteria. For minor scrapes, a gentle application can help clean the surface. But if you have a deep cut, a gaping wound, or something that clearly needs medical attention, hydrogen peroxide is not your answer. Rinse with clean water, apply pressure, and get proper care. Do not go pouring brown bottle liquid into something serious and wonder why it is not healing correctly. Number 22. You are leaving it on your skin too long. Here is something a lot of people do not realize. Hydrogen peroxide is not meant to sit on your skin indefinitely. Grandma would dab it on, let it do its fizzing work for a minute or two, and then rinse or wipe it away. Leaving it on for extended periods of time can actually cause skin irritation, dryness, and in some cases mild chemical burns or whitening of the skin. If you notice the skin around an area turning white after applying hydrogen peroxide, that is a sign it has been on too long or the concentration is too high for that area. Quick application, observe the reaction, then rinse. That was the old way, and it was the right way. Number 21. You are using it every single day on your skin. Consistency does not always mean daily use. People think that if something works, they should use it every day for maximum effect. Hydrogen peroxide is not that kind of product. Using it on your skin daily disrupts your natural skin microbiome, dries out the skin, and over time can actually make your skin more vulnerable to infections rather than less. Grandma used it when it was needed, not as part of a daily skincare routine. Reserve it for specific situations, a small blemish that needs attention, a minor cut, an occasional skin treatment. Not every single morning like a face wash. Number 20. You are using it on your face without diluting it first. Facial skin is significantly more sensitive than the skin on your hands or feet. The 3% concentration that is perfectly fine for a scrape on your knee can be genuinely irritating on the thinner, more delicate skin of your face. If you want to use hydrogen peroxide for anything facial, dilute it. Mix equal parts hydrogen peroxide and water to bring that concentration down to around 1.5% before applying it near your face. Grandma never used it full strength anywhere near her face. She respected the sensitivity of facial skin and treated it accordingly. Number 19. You are using it as a daily mouthwash. Hydrogen peroxide mouth rinses have become very trendy, and people are swishing it around every single day, believing it is whitening their teeth and killing all bad bacteria. Here is the problem. Your mouth needs a healthy balance of bacteria. Daily use of hydrogen peroxide as a mouthwash destroys that balance, can irritate the soft tissues of your gums and mouth lining, and if accidentally swallowed consistently, causes stomach irritation. Grandma used it occasionally for a mouth rinse, maybe when dealing with a mild sore throat or a small mouth sore. Dilute it heavily, use it occasionally, and do not make it a daily habit. Once or twice a week at most, and always with the 3% diluted in water. Number 18. You are swallowing it, thinking it will heal you from the inside. This is genuinely dangerous and needs to be said clearly. There is content online promoting the idea of drinking hydrogen peroxide, particularly the 35% food-grade version, as some kind of internal cleanse or healing therapy. This is not what Grandma did. This is not a folk remedy. This is a path to serious harm. Even drinking 3% hydrogen peroxide can cause vomiting, stomach upset, and tissue damage in the esophagus and stomach lining. The higher concentrations can be fatal. Do not drink it. Do not ingest it intentionally in any form. This is one mistake that goes beyond just poor results and into actual medical emergency territory. Number 17. You are using it wrong as a foot soak. Foot soaks with hydrogen peroxide have genuine benefits when done correctly. Many people use it for toenail fungus, cracked heels, and general foot hygiene. But here is exactly where people go wrong. They fill a basin with straight 3% hydrogen peroxide and soak their feet for 30 minutes or more, thinking the longer, the better. That is not how Grandma would have done it. First, you do not use it full strength for a prolonged soak. The correct approach is to dilute it. Mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 3 parts warm water. That brings the concentration down to a safe and still effective level. Soak for no more than 15 to 20 minutes. Grandma would do this maybe 2 or 3 times per week, not daily. Also, people make the mistake of soaking feet with open cuts or sores on them. That full diluted soak can still irritate broken skin. Check your feet before you soak. Another foot soak mistake is expecting overnight miracles. Toenail fungus takes weeks of consistent, correctly done treatments to show improvement. People try it twice, see nothing, give up, and say it does not work. Patience and consistency, done the right way, is what Grandma understood deeply. Number 16. You are not drying properly after a foot soak. This connects to the foot soak mistake and deserves its own number, because it is that commonly done wrong. After a hydrogen peroxide foot soak, moisture gets trapped between the toes and underneath the nails. If you do not dry your feet completely and thoroughly, you are actually creating a warm, moist environment that is perfect for fungus to thrive, which completely defeats the purpose of the soak. Grandma would dry between every toe, let her feet air out for several minutes, and sometimes even apply a light dusting of cornstarch or baking soda to absorb remaining moisture. Dry completely. Every time. Number 15. You are using it on your hair at full strength. Hair and hydrogen peroxide have a long and complicated relationship. People have been using it to lighten hair for over 100 years. But the number of people doing it completely wrong is staggering. Applying 3% or higher hydrogen peroxide directly to your hair without diluting it. Leaving it on too long or using it too frequently causes significant hair damage. It strips the hair's natural oils, breaks down the protein structure of the hair shaft, and leads to dryness, brittleness, and breakage. Grandma, if she ever used it for hair, diluted it significantly, and used it sparingly. For lightening, mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with at least 2 to 3 parts water. Apply carefully, monitor closely, and do not leave it on for extended periods. Less is always more with hair. Number 14. You are using it on already damaged or processed hair. If your hair has already been chemically treated, bleached, permed, or relaxed, adding hydrogen peroxide on top of that existing damage is compounding the problem. Chemically processed hair is structurally weakened. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down hair structure further. Putting it on damaged hair is like adding more cracks to an already fragile foundation. Grandma would have looked at damaged hair and said it needs moisture and care, not more chemical exposure. If your hair is already dry, brittle, or processed, step away from the hydrogen peroxide for hair purposes until you have restored some of its health first. Number 13. You are using it on colored fabric without testing it first. Hydrogen peroxide is a mild bleaching agent. People grab it to remove a stain from a shirt and then panic when the shirt comes out with a bright white spot where the stain used to be. Grandma never applied anything to fabric without testing a small hidden spot first. Always test it on an inside seam or the underside of a hem before going anywhere near the visible part of the fabric. And even then, 3% hydrogen peroxide is far safer on most fabrics than higher concentrations. On white fabrics, it can be incredibly effective for stain removal, but on anything colored or dark, tread carefully. Number 12. You are getting it in your eyes during hair treatment. When people apply hydrogen peroxide to their hair, especially to the scalp or hairline, the risk of it running into the eyes is real. The eyes are extremely vulnerable to hydrogen peroxide. Even the 3% concentration can cause significant eye irritation, burning, and in some cases, more serious damage. Always tilt your head away from your eyes during application. Use a careful, targeted application method. Have plenty of clean water nearby in case of accidental contact. Flush immediately with water if it gets in your eyes. Grandma was careful. She took her time. She did not rush these things, and that carefulness kept her from causing herself harm. Number 11. You are using it on your underarms incorrectly. Using hydrogen peroxide on the underarms or armpits is something many people have heard about as a natural way to reduce odor and even lighten darkened skin in that area. But people are making serious mistakes with this application. The most common error is applying full-strength 3% hydrogen peroxide directly to freshly shaved or just waxed underarm skin. That skin is raw, irritated, and has microabrasions from the hair removal process. Applying hydrogen peroxide to it causes intense burning, irritation, and can actually worsen the darkening over time due to inflammation. Grandma's rule for sensitive skin areas was simple. If the skin is freshly worked on, leave it alone for at least 24 to 48 hours before applying anything like this. Wait until the skin has calmed down completely. Number 10. You are using it to gargle or rinse your mouth at the wrong concentration. Hydrogen peroxide mouth rinses have been used for a very long time to help with gum health, minor mouth sores, and whitening effects. Grandma did use it for this, but she always diluted it heavily. The correct dilution for a mouth rinse is typically 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 2 parts water, and you gargle or swish for no more than 60 seconds. People who use it undiluted or who swallow it are making a serious mistake. Swallowing hydrogen peroxide can cause nausea and irritation, and using it too frequently can disrupt the natural balance of bacteria in your mouth, leading to oral health problems rather than solving them. Number 9. You are mixing hydrogen peroxide with baking soda and leaving the mixture sitting for a long time before use. A paste made from hydrogen peroxide and baking soda can be effective for certain cleaning tasks and even as an occasional tooth whitening paste. But the mistake is making a big batch and saving it for later. Once mixed, the hydrogen peroxide starts reacting with the baking soda and begins to break down. Within a short period, the mixture loses much of its effectiveness, Grandma always made small amounts, used them immediately, and never stored the mixture. Mix what you need, use it right away, and do not save it. Number 8. You are mixing it with other cleaning products without knowing what you are creating. This one moves into the home cleaning space because hydrogen peroxide is a fantastic household cleaner when used correctly. The mistake people make is mixing it with other common household cleaners. Mixing hydrogen peroxide with vinegar creates peracetic acid, which is a corrosive compound that can irritate airways and skin. Mixing it with bleach creates toxic chlorine gas. People do this thinking they are supercharging their cleaning power. They are actually creating chemical hazards in their own homes. Grandma kept her cleaning products separate and used each one individually. Never mix hydrogen peroxide with other chemicals without knowing exactly what reaction you are creating. Number 7. You are using old, degraded hydrogen peroxide and wondering why nothing works. As mentioned earlier, hydrogen peroxide breaks down into plain water over time. But this point is worth its own dedicated spot because of how commonly it leads to complete failure. People buy a bottle, use it a few times, leave it for 6 months, pull it out and use it again and get nothing. Then they say hydrogen peroxide does not work. It did work. You are just using water. Hydrogen peroxide has a shelf life of about 6 months unopened and drops significantly faster once opened. Check it regularly. Pour a small amount onto a dark surface or onto a small cut and watch for fizzing. No fizz equals no active oxygen equals no benefit. Fresh product makes all the difference. Number 6. You're using it on colored or dyed hair regularly. If you dye your hair and use hydrogen peroxide even in diluted form on a regular basis, you are stripping your color faster than you might realize and simultaneously damaging the hair structure. Hydrogen peroxide is oxidizing, and that oxidizing action does not discriminate between fungus on your scalp or the dye molecules in your hair shaft. It attacks everything. People complain that their hair color fades too fast and do not connect it to their hydrogen peroxide use. If you have color-treated hair, significantly limit or avoid hydrogen peroxide hair applications entirely. Protect the investment you made in your hair color and the health of your hair at the same time. Number 5. You are using it incorrectly on ear infections. Diluted hydrogen peroxide in the ear canal is an old remedy that many grandmothers used for earwax buildup and minor ear discomfort. But the mistakes people make here are significant. Some people use full-strength hydrogen peroxide directly in the ear, which can cause excessive fizzing, dizziness, and discomfort. Others use it when they have a perforated eardrum or serious ear infection, which can make things dramatically worse. The correct approach is a very diluted solution, about half the strength of the drugstore 3%, and only a few drops applied gently with a dropper. Let it fizz for about 30 seconds, then tilt the head and let it drain. And critically, if you have any possibility of a perforated eardrum, significant ear pain, or discharge, see a doctor first. Grandma used common sense. She would not have poured anything into an already seriously troubled ear. Number 4. You are using it to whiten teeth too aggressively. Teeth whitening with hydrogen peroxide works because the oxidizing action penetrates the enamel and breaks down the color compounds inside. But people who use it too frequently, at too high a concentration, or for too long each session are doing real damage to their tooth enamel. Enamel does not grow back. Once it is thinned or damaged, that is permanent. Using hydrogen peroxide for teeth should be infrequent, diluted to roughly 1% or less, and used for short rinse periods, not left sitting against the teeth for extended times. Grandma's generation used baking soda and occasional mild peroxide rinses. They did not do aggressive daily whitening treatments. There is a reason many of them kept their teeth healthy well into old age. Number 3. You are using it on sunburned or irritated skin, thinking it will help. This mistake makes everything worse. Some people believe that because hydrogen peroxide kills bacteria and has a cooling initial sensation, it would be helpful on sunburned skin. Sunburned skin is already compromised, inflamed, and working hard to repair itself. Applying hydrogen peroxide to it introduces an oxidizing agent to already stressed, damaged skin cells. It disrupts the healing process, increases dryness, and adds irritation on top of existing inflammation. Grandma would have reached for aloe vera and cool water for a sunburn. She would have kept the hydrogen peroxide far away from anything already inflamed or compromised. Match the remedy to the actual problem. Number 2. You are using it on pets thinking what works for humans works for them. A surprisingly common mistake. People use hydrogen peroxide on their dogs or cats for wound care, thinking that if it is safe enough for human skin, it must be fine for animals. The reality is that many animals, particularly cats, are significantly more sensitive to hydrogen peroxide than humans are. It can damage the tissue around wounds and delay healing in pets just as it can in deep human wounds, sometimes more so. Cats in particular can have serious reactions. For pet wound care, use products specifically formulated for veterinary use and consult a vet for anything beyond the most minor surface scrape. Grandma loved her animals and she kept her medicine cabinet products away from them. Number 1. You are not respecting what it actually is. This is the biggest mistake of all, and it underlies every other mistake on this list. Hydrogen peroxide is a legitimate chemical compound with real oxidizing power. It is not just glorified water, and it is not a miracle cure for everything. People treat it casually because it is cheap and widely available. They splash it on without measuring, use it at whatever concentration they find, mix it carelessly, apply it everywhere without thinking, and then either hurt themselves or see zero results and dismiss it entirely. Grandma respected it. She used it purposefully, carefully, at the right dilution for the right job, for the right amount of time. That respect was the foundation of every effective use she ever got from it. When you understand what something actually is and what it is actually capable of, you stop misusing it. That was Grandma's wisdom, and it applies perfectly here. Now before you go, 3 quick things to remember. Always check that your hydrogen peroxide is still active before using it. Dilute it appropriately for whatever you are using it on, and sensitive areas always get weaker concentrations. And give it time. Whether it is a foot soak for fungus, an occasional underarm treatment, or a mild tooth rinse, results from doing things correctly. Take consistency and patience. Grandma was not in a hurry, and her results prove that slow and steady and right beats fast and wrong every single time.